Yo, we back. It's another episode, man. Neighborhood CEOs. I'm John, by the way. I got my partner Lionel in here, man. Lionel, man, how you feeling?
Hey, bro, feeling good, man. Feeling great, man. I'm excited, man. I got one of my guys in here today, bro.
Hey, yeah, hey, so that's what I was gonna say, man. So normally it's either be one of our guys, man. Sometimes it's both of us, man. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the wheel, man. Tell everybody, who we got in the neighborhood tonight, man.
Yes, sir, man. So, like I said, I got one of my guys in here, man. This is I would say, man, John, like, you got one of those big bros, man.
Yeah.
And Pete was that, man. Paul was that big bro going into Union. And I was, me, man. I was green going into Union, man. I ain't really see a whole lot of action, man. So I get with Paul, man. Paul got a little bit more action than I had at that point, man. So Paul was put me on, man. So
Yeah.
nah, man. Like I said, big bro, man. Somebody that truly, bro, like put me on to the barbershop game. You know what I'm saying? Fresh haircuts back in the day, like a real brother, man. And so we used to always vibe and kick it, and like I said, man, just always building on positive talk, on getting ahead, get better. So without further ado, I want to welcome my brother Paul Gill to the pod. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Man, thank you, guys. I'm doing well. I'm blessed and highly favored, man. And again, I just want to give you guys your flowers for even thinking about me to even have me on you guys' show, man. And thinking that I had something positive to say or something worthwhile to say, man. So it's truly a blessing to know somebody views you in high regard, just as well as I view you brothers as well.
Yeah, it's love, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Stuff, man. Yeah, man. So before we get into it, man, we like to start. But most people, man, you one of them guys, I think, man. We'll do a little check-in, man. So, we say what's good with you. You think you say you good, man, but how you feeling, man? Like how you really doing these days, man? What's going on with you?
Man,
And where
right
you at?
now, I'm in a very special and unique space at the moment in time, man, because um, every 7 years, the human being changes. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so I'm in the process of trying to erase a lot of bad information that I learned growing up. You know what I mean? Working on my mental health,
Yep.
and working on my health as well. That's one of the number one things that I'm trying to work on now is working on my health because I have two children and a wife and a family. You know what I mean? And so I've been overweight for a long time. You know what I mean? And so I said, man, how can I um, tell my children what to do if I'm not a true example of what I need to be as a man? You know what I mean? If I can't control what go in my mouth, how am I gonna tell my children to control what go into their mouth or comes out of their mouth? You know what I mean? So my number one thing for a long time, man, I was just chasing money, chasing money. I work corporate. I'm a business development manager for a company named Guernsey, as well as I'm a serial entrepreneur, man. I'm always trying to
I like
figure
that.
out a different way to make some money, man. I love to hustle in the grind, man. Like that's just embedded in me. Like my dad used to say, it ain't what's on you, it's what's in you. You know what I mean? And so being a true entrepreneur and just being a true entrepreneur, the hustle is in me. And so what I realized is that I was hustling but I was losing out on the most important things in life, which was my health and time with my children and things like that. I provided them a great lifestyle. They got everything that you want, but man, my son, he said something to me about a year ago, and it let me know I had to slow down. He said, man, Dad, I don't never see you, but I know you got some money. You know what I mean? And I was like, it actually hurt my feelings, man. You know what I mean? I said, man, I'm not going to be a slave to this dollar. You know what I mean? So, just changing my mindset and on and changing my brain around the way I'm viewing life. You know what I mean? And looking at the things that are most important to me, again, which is health. Man, I heard a guy say something the other day. He said, man, um, if I give you $10 million today, I would love to give you $10 million right now, but you can't wake up tomorrow. Would you take the money? You know what I mean? And that.
I ain't ready to go yet, man.
Yeah, I said I ain't ready to go, man. You know what I mean? So again, I took the long way around, telling you how I'm feeling. But right now, man, my number one thing is just, getting my health in order. And so I'm down about 25 pounds right now. I just reversed my diabetes, man. I got my cholesterol down. No high blood pressure, man. So I'm feeling like a champ, man. And so I feel like a new person, and I feel like that I'm in new water in uncharted territory. You know what I mean? So right now, man, I'm just trying to go at life with an open book, and as an open book, and see where it takes me.
Yeah.
That's solid, bro.
Hey, ain't nothing. Hey, I don't know where you was or what you. I know you said you was overweight or whatever, but I'm telling you, it ain't nothing like that when you see them results, though, man.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Man.
Ain't nothing, hey, you almost. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, it's tough. Hey, sometimes you see the results, man. Your old lady, they looking at you like they want you to slow down, man. Like they want you to get back to hold you, man.
I mean, but you know what, man? Just being healthy is a lifestyle, man, and it's changed so much because I got rid of like my brain fog. You know what I mean? I've always been sharp. You know what I mean? But your brain fog go away. You know what I mean? A lot of things that the way I used to look at a lot of just certain situations and things, man. Like once you start being in control of your body, everything else just falls in order. You know what I mean? And so and that's just like the same with your household. Once you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man, it seems like everything else in your household just comes together. You know what I mean? It just falls in place. So I being that I am the leader of my house. You know what I mean? I try to make sure that I'm representing well. You know what I mean? Yep. A lot of people don't. A lot of men won't want somebody to follow them, but they're not representing well. You know what I mean? Or you're not leading well. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to be a true example, for my community, for my kids. You know what I mean? I'm active in the church, and I'm active in just a lot of community things, man. And so we got so much bad representation of us through culture and through media. You know what I mean? And through it's so much bad representation that the brothers that do have it together and our mindset, we got to represent well. You know what I mean? And that's looking good. That's being on top of your money. You know what I mean? That's speaking well. And just trying to be, the best person that we can be.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that's solid. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you spoke on so many great, great things, man. And like that, just the idea of 7 years being a new person, man. And I've seen, man, I've known you since I was 18, right? Which is crazy to say right now, like half our lives, bro.
Yeah,
like,
word.
We was talking to Art about a month ago. And it like hit me at that point, like, man, how much time has gone by, and like I've seen your change in many different phases, man. Like, but I could tell, like, you're in a different mindset, like passion, man. Talk to us a little bit more about like the mindset you have to have, like, for success. Like, what's your approach to that?
My approach is can't nobody stop me. I don't mean to be cocky. You know what I mean? And I do a lot of reading now, and I'm into ultimate accountability. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is you are where you're at in life strictly through all of the decisions that you made up to this point. You can't blame it on your mama. You can't blame it on the trauma that you went through. You know what I mean? There is nobody that you can blame for where you're at in life. You know what I mean? And so once you start taking ultimate accountability, then a lot of the BS just falls from the wayside. It just falls to the wayside. Riding down the road, you know what I mean? I'm looking at myself, you know what I mean? You see your belly hanging over the seatbelt, you know what I'm saying? And you like, man, you know what I mean? I would go work out, but you know what I mean? I done worked all day, you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of BS, man, you know what I mean? Because you make time for what you make time for. A lot of people fall into, the death scroll, you know what I mean? You'll spend an hour, 2 hours on your phone on the death scroll, but you won't do anything to put yourself in a positive vibration. You know what I mean? Or to change your mindset or to make yourself feel good. You know what I mean? And so, but just taking ultimate accountability for the things that goes on around me, you know what I mean, is the number one thing that has, given me that passion and a different mindset because, I've always felt rich and wealthy my entire life, even though, we come from very similar backgrounds. We come off those country dirt roads, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
And you know what I mean? And you know that whole situation in that culture, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And so you know, knowing, you know, where I came from and knowing that I'm a master of my fate and just being ultimately accountable for myself is it's been my driving passion and I take that back, been my number one driver for my mindset at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
You gotta, you gotta like I like what you said though, man. It's we make time for what we want to make time for. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we talk to people, bunch of different people, man. A lot of them say the same thing, man. Like you got 24 hours, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll wake up early. We used to wake up early. Some shoes
Mm-hmm.
coming out. We get up
Right.
early. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So you wake up early. I mean, I wake up early on a Sunday when the NFL, when a game coming on, the London games is 9:30 over here. I wake up early to watch that game. You know what I'm saying, on a 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. But you shouldn't. It's no excuse for you not to have your health together, man. If you got and we don't even need to go to gyms no more. It ain't about going to the gym. You can do anything you want to in your house. You
Mm-hmm.
can walk, you can run. You like you said, your diet is what it's really all about anyway. That's the main thing because you can't outwork a bad diet. That's what they say, and I think that's true. So yeah, we make time for what we want to make time for, man. So it definitely ain't no excuse, and we ain't nobody to blame, like you said, but us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the key thing is locking in on that eating piece too, man, as well, man. Eating well does so much for you. You know what I mean? It does so much for your mind. It does so much. I apologize, guys. My
Very
kids
good.
just came downstairs. So,
It's all good. Hey,
It's all real, man.
you
we
know,
gotta
It's
let
I'm
them
a
all
express.
real.
strict father. You know what I mean? So I apologize.
Nah, good.
Good.
But eating well is really been key to me, man. And also, you know, what you take in, and what I mean eating is what you're taking in your environment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What you're watching, what you're listening to,
Mhm.
all of the things that that you're just taking in, and the vibrations that how you're vibrating. You know what I mean? As far as how you're eating and what you're taking in and things like that are are number one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you know it's like and we spoke on that. We speak on that often, man. It's like social media, what you consume in the music. Everything matters, man, and just get that mentality. And one of the things behind the pod, right, the neighborhood CEO is kind of more about the mindset more than the actual the CEO, right? Is how to have that mentality to have ultimate accountability, how to change, how to work hard at getting from point A to point B. And so that's what it's about, man. It's getting ahead. It's getting better.
Yeah,
So,
that again. I just want to be better than I was, the next day, man. Than the previous day, because
mhm,
again, man, we spend so much time, being entertained. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And
mhm.
so, man, but the number one thing, man, I hadn't turned on the TV in probably like 3 months, man. I've been deep into like reading. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, I take that back. I do like BMF. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I do like BMF. You know
About
what I
an
mean?
hour
But
for it. Ain't nothing
yeah,
wrong
but
with it.
as far as a lot of entertainment, man, I can't even listen to a lot of rap music like I used to, man. You know what I mean? I used to be into the gangster rap. You know what I mean? But now, man, it's like, man, it's like what are you doing for your soul, man? Like, because all of that's, that indoctrination is mean, you know what I mean? And it goes into, how you conduct your business, you know what I'm saying? And so,
Mhm.
I can't walk into corporate meetings, so I can't, be submitting proposals and you getting, I'm not gonna cuss, but you getting the N word, kill them, you know what I'm saying? All of that, man. I can't do that anymore. But I do like the trapper rap. I love to, hear about hustling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But
Why you like that BMF? That's why you like that BMF, man.
yeah, man. I love
Take
it.
you back. Take you back a little bit, man. That's it.
Yeah, man, it take you back. You know what I mean? And you still got to be a little edgy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can't forget. But that goes into that's a part of how I was raised, man. I seen a lot of street activity,
Yeah.
and I always wanted the nice cars, and you know what I mean. I wanted to be like the hustlers in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
but I found a way to have all of that. You know what I'm saying? Without getting your hands dirty. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
I'm glad
me and
go
Lana, before you go, me and Lana used to dress like the hustler in the neighborhood, man. He,
Oh man,
we can't speak on him. He's not the same guy anymore, but we used to
right.
dress like the hustler in the neighborhood, man.
yeah, yeah. But that's real talk. I mean, you try to emulate that, and I think I think that's why I think we had so much in common because of that. P, like we had our fathers were similar, right?
Yeah.
We
Mm-hmm.
came from a similar area, right? We
Yeah.
seen things. We both had we came in union having hustler ambition. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
what?
Like
You can tell me. I,
you
mean, I
know,
thought I was Jeezy at one point in
right,
time.
right.
You know what I'm
Oh, and
saying?
then Jeezy comes out, right? Man,
Man, I thought I
shit,
was
bro.
Jeezy, man. You couldn't
Yeah,
tell me nothing, man.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? But all of that was wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? It was like, but again, that's a part of that indoctrination, man. I call it the great con. You know what I'm saying? Because the powers that be tricked us into thinking that that gangster lifestyle and you know what I mean and selling dope and all that crazy stuff was being a womanizer and just the things that we hear in our culture is wrong because a lot of that stuff you don't hear in other music. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear in other cultures, man. You know what I mean? And so, the more I think about it, you know what I mean, and the more that the older I get, I'm like, damn, dog, they really had us like blanked
Trick.
out. You know what I'm saying? They really tricked us. You know what I'm saying? Especially every kid that I knew, man. You know what I mean? All of us, we were reciting the words to the song, man. And essentially, the only thing you're doing is casting a spell on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you into that rhythmic. You know what I mean? And back, when the crunk music came out, as a teenager, you go somewhere and tear some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Just off the music, man. You know what I mean? And no other culture has that effect on the children like that, man. And so and that's why you're seeing the violence and things like that, go to a whole nother level now, is because again that indoctrination is growing and growing and growing, and it takes men like us, you know what I mean, to be like, yo, man, you still can be cool and have swag, you know what I mean, but you ain't got to do all of that, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to OD on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's the exposure, man. Life, man. It's like you can separate it, and I think and what's wild. Other cultures they listen to our music. I mean, you'd be surprised, man. Like my daughter plays softball, so and the players they have their walk up song, and these white girls they come at every white girl got on like I mean they listen to every hood song that probably came out within the last 9 months, right? I mean, that tells me right there the impact of our culture. But I do think there's a part where we can separate. They can separate it.
Yep.
And I think our culture, we have a hard time separating. We have
They're
a
using
hard
it for
time.
entertainment. They're using it for entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
We living and dying by it, man.
And that's crazy, man. We were just having this conversation at the barbershop. The whole no snitching thing. You know what I mean? And where does that come from? You know what I'm saying? Because if I'll try to keep it business as well. You know what I'm saying? And along those same lines, but I was saying, man, I'm a civilian now. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
if I see a crowd, I'm telling, I'm going, I'm calling. Hey, look, man, I just see somebody get shot next door. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that in my community.
I don't live
you know
by them codes.
But it's terrible, man. You know what I'm saying? That they even had us conditioned. You know what I'm saying? To think that you can't be an upstanding citizen. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's that's a whole nother. We can get into 100 different arms there. You know what I mean? But I'm just talking about how we were brainwashed, man. And I think that we have to get back to what was going on in the early 50s and 60s, right after Jim Crow. You know what I mean? Where black men had trades, and we were more conscious of starting our own and having our own businesses and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Then because like I said, they'll get you brainwashed so you can go off left. You know what I mean? And become a number and a statistic. So the state and the federal system can make money off of you every month. You know what I mean? And so we got to start teaching business to the children. You know what I mean? And to the men where the future men that's coming up. They're saying, hey, the way is to own your own. The way is to, man, it's crazy because, seeing a lot of street activity growing up, man, you know, you would see, you know, kids that, you know, were in high school and, you know, they had $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, you know what I mean, $10,000. I was like, man, you know, they rich, you know what I mean? And, you know, I've worked in corporate since 2011. And I've seen a lot of acquisitions and a lot of like men, you know, start IT companies and things like that. And they teach their children to do the same thing. And these kids are millionaires by the time they're 21 and 22.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Definitely.
so, and they ain't did nothing illegal. You know what I mean? They didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's all a part of the great con. You know what I mean? They teach you got to go to school. You got to, you know, you got to go get an education. You know what I mean? Then you're going to come out from that education, $100,000 in debt. You know what I mean? But it's crazy that, you know, they'll let you get in all that debt for school, but won't give you a business loan. You know what I'm saying? So the number one thing is to have your own, man. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they're teaching, you know, in the Jewish community, you know, man, they're teaching real wealth, you know, as to where they're using life insurance policies, you know, to start buying buildings and businesses and things when these kids are 18 years old, man. You know what I mean? I ain't learned about credit till mine was messed up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But these kids are, you know, kids in different cultures are learning, you know, especially, you know, in the Chinese culture, the Jewish community, you know, these kids are learning about credit, you know what I'm saying, and wealth at a very early age, man, and they're building these things, you know what I mean? And so that's why they're light years ahead of us, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, now it's rare that I see somebody, you know, in the Black community, you know, really starting their kids out very young to be owners, you know what I'm saying, and have that neighborhood CEO mentality, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we gotta. I don't know what that. I don't know, man. That's why I try to say what you're talking about with the health, with business. That's why I'm trying to just. I know we're supposed to not have too many irons in the fire, or they try to say you want to focus on this thing or focus on that. But right now, I'm just trying to show. That's really why I'm doing everything I'm doing, man. So my kids can see that I don't just got to wake up, go to work at 8, come home at 4:30, and do it all over again 5 days a week. Of course, that's what you got to do until you can do something different. But I'm trying to show them that whatever you want to do. I done tried it all. We done tried the box. I done tried box trucks. We done tried. We doing podcasts. We doing. Hey, I'm getting ready to try to show them that we're gonna do some farming. We're gonna grow our own crops.
Man, let me tell you something.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want them to say when they get older, if they choose to be convicts, they ain't gonna say that I ain't showing the ways that they can do some stuff. That's all. That's my thing, man. Whatever. I'm gonna do whatever because my dad, he did what best he could do, and now I know, and he did the same thing. He went to work 35 years, get a retirement, go get that check every month, and that's all he knew. So he did his job, but he didn't have all the information that I got.
Right.
So now that I got all this information, I got to do something with it. I got to put it to use. So. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think we got to do, man. And you saying that kind of with the different communities, what they doing, man. They just got all that information, man, and they feed it to their kids at a young age. They ain't, you know, of course we got all the style, we got all the culture, and they take that from us. But at the same time, they know we got to get to this money. We got to get to this business.
Right.
We're gonna go do all the TikTok dance with the coloreds, with the blacks. We're gonna do all that. But
you can have your fun, but
they know that's
what to come back to.
Ain't real life. We will come back and get to this, you know, get to this real stuff. So, yeah, I'm definitely with that, man. With all the exercising, eating right, I'm trying to. My kids, hey, they want to drink. If one point is, you know, they want a soda, they want this Sunny Delight. Well, I used to love that, but now I know that ain't the orange. That ain't the real orange juice.
Yeah, man, ain't nothing but sugar, man. You know what I'm saying?
So, you know, I'm trying to show them. So they pick it up. They pick it up a little bit. One of them, I got 2 boys. One of them, he a little slower to the party than the other one, but they see me doing. They see me juicing. They see me making them smoothies. They see me on the treadmill, and they, you know, they try to pick it up. So it's just them healthy habits, man. You gotta show them, man, because that's. Hey, I don't know one. I think somebody might have said it on here. Maybe I heard it somewhere else. Oh, you don't want your kid to look outside their house for no example, for no hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
we on here talking. We can communicate fluently. So why not them want to be like us versus them to go to want to be like somebody else?
What I'm teaching my children now, man, is to be in control of their emotions, because you got man, you got so many black men that's locked up, man, and in jail. You know what I'm saying, for an emotional situation that took 1 second. You know what I mean? You know how many guys I grew up with, man, that's in jail for murder right now? You know what I mean? Because they had an emotional situation and didn't have the emotional resilience or any conflict resolution skills. You know what I'm saying? Where we can talk, man, we can talk this thing out. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm trying to teach my kids now to be be in control of their emotions, man, because that goes into business, that goes into your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I do therapy once a week, and the number one takeaway that I've learned is to operate off the data. You know what I'm saying? Just operate off the straight data. You can't operate off emotion because emotions really aren't real. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm teaching my kids, you know, and that goes into eating and everything, man. You know, if they got too much sugar in their system, or they've been eating carbs all day, man, you know what I mean? You know, they'll get wired up, you know what I mean? And the next thing you know, you'll see, I mean, one day, man, it tripped me out, man. I gave my youngest son a bag of Skittles, right? He ate the whole bag, and I'm talking about he was off the chain. He was fighting his brother, you know what I mean? But I looked at the difference from when before he ate the Skittles until after, you know what I mean? And I was like, yo, this is a whole completely different person, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't make your kids cognizant of, you know, their environment, and again, what they take in, you know what I mean? What you're putting in your mouth, what's coming out of your mouth, what you're listening to, what you're watching, you know what I mean? If you don't make sure that you got a hold on that, somebody else will. And it might be on their own plan, you know what I'm saying? And you might end up paying for it, you know what I mean? How many mamas y'all know growing up, they had to put up their house because their son made an emotional decision, and now, you know what I mean, the bail's bonds, he want the house, you know what I mean? Or they had to put up a car, or everybody in their family had to put up 10% to try to get somebody off an emotional situation.
I had that. Hey, I got a couple brothers, man. So I know about all that, putting up this and that, man. I ain't gonna say which one, man, but I got one. We had to put up a couple times. We ain't lose it though, so he ain't take off. He ain't go nowhere. But I heard them stories, man, where you gotta, you know what I mean? It's just like you said, split second, man. You know,
it only take 1 second, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, brother.
Yeah, man.
I know you mentioned earlier, bro, about owning your own, man. Talk to us about what it's been like being in business. How long you been in business? What kind of business? Talks to people about what you do.
So right now I currently own a food truck on the side. You know, I operate on the weekends. It's called Paulie's Rib Shack. And so again, I work corporate during the week, but I've always believed in having 1 foot in and 1 foot out until you can have 1 foot all the way out. You know what I mean? But I take everything that I learned from corporate America and I apply it to my business. And so, but being in business and, you know, and I would say I'm successful at business. You know what I mean? I could do a lot better, but I would say I'm successful because I've matched my salary from my job, you know, with my business. And so it's very empowering. You know what I mean? It's very, very empowering to know that you can essentially be a magician and turn nothing into something. You know what I mean? And so knowing that you can do it once, you know, gives you that confidence that you can do it again. You know what I mean? And one thing I do want to say to a lot of Black people is, and I'm going through it right now, don't buy another job. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that going into business for themselves, you know what I mean? They end up buying another job where you have to be there. You have to have that sweat equity. You know what I mean? I would say, you know, put some thought into it and have something that can operate itself as to where you can set up systems and workflows for it to operate itself. Because, you know, I'll see a lot of brothers, man, I want to get into the business for myself. I want to get into business for myself. And essentially what they do is they buy another job. That, you know what I mean? that you're the, and so I did it, you know what I mean? Because that's why, as I said earlier, I was always hustling, you know what I'm saying? On the weekends, you know, when barbecue meal, you got to prep, you know, you got to go out there, break down, you know, you got to shop for the things and things like that. So I just bought myself another job, you know what I mean? And so now, you know, I'm toying around with a couple of different things, you know what I mean, in the insurance industry to that can operate itself without me being there. You know what I'm saying? Where I can make money while I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm making the proper investments, not to again purchase another job. You know what I mean? And so I've been challenging a lot of people, you know, from where I'm from, is to start thinking just a little bit more intricate on the businesses that you're going into, because everybody want to do food trucks. Everybody want to get into the box truck game. You know what I mean? Everybody want to do, you know what I mean? Some of the normals go barbershops and things where you have to have that sweat equity. You know what I mean? And, you know, from learning a lot of things, you know, in corporate, is that I see that these guys, you know, they get these major paydays. They'll build these businesses up for 2 to 3 years and get these major like $50 million, $100 million paydays, you know what I mean, off of a workflow. The last company that I worked for, man, I think they got sold for like $54.5 million. The guy started the company he had it for 6 years. He had 14 developers. So he had 14 people that worked in the company, sold it for $54 million and was out. You know what I'm saying? And I may have saw this guy an hour a day. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not gonna drop no names, but you know what I mean. I was flabbergasted. You know what I mean? Because everybody that I see in my community, in my culture, we kind of have, and I apologize if any of the viewers think that I'm trying to put us all in a box. I'm just talking about, you know, the norm. You know what I mean? That I see.
What you see? That's what you see.
I'm just talking about what I see, because I know some very great, you know, Black businessmen that are totally left field, you know, and I can't even describe what they do in business. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just challenging people just to just think a little bit more and think about the businesses that you're getting into, so you don't have to again purchase another job. You know what I'm saying? Because that's crazy.
Do you do that? Is that what you're doing? What you're doing now? Or would you consider that you purchase another job, or you like hands off with what you do on the weekend? Or a little bit of both.
Now, again, like I said in the beginning, I purchased another job. That's what I did, but it was just mine. You know what I'm saying? It was mine. You know what I mean? It's operational. You know what I'm saying? Off of me. And so, you know, I got it to the point, you know, a few years ago where I had other people working for me and things like that. But if you're not babying the thing, people don't do your business how you do your business. You know what I'm saying? And so being, you know, with food, man, it's a very delicate situation, because, you know, one weekend can crash it. You know what I'm saying? You can mess up one weekend, you know what I mean? And there ain't nobody else coming to see you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I purchased another job, and, you know, you try to train people and things like that, but if they don't really have a passion for, you know what I mean, it's kind of, you know, they don't care what's going on. They just trying to get a paycheck. You know what I mean? And so, again, I purchased another job, and I'm trying to get out of that right now. You know what I mean? And so, but it's my job, but it's another job that I purchased because I have to be there for it to work. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, again, those systems and workflows are very important.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think we always get the positives of being in business, and I don't think, you know, as business owners we shed that light on being a business owner, and, you know, the type of attention to detail you have to make sure you don't crash and your business can stay afloat, and if you take yourself out of it, you can see. When you the system, you can see everybody relying on you, and you can see the business relying too much on you, and creating workflows. And it's, you know, one thing I've noticed about the podcast, bro, everything I talk about in life, it comes up in pod. I mean, it's crazy, right? Because I recently had a conversation with one of my guys, man, and he was telling me about mental health practices selling their business, right? And the thing he said, the number one key to selling your business is having great systems in place. Like somebody wants to come in and it's turnkey. They don't have to worry about nothing. Right. And, you know, you confirming that, you know, just understanding if you have great systems, but also great people to depend on. I mean, they have a passion of being there,
Mm-hmm.
but also they're trainable, right? They're able to understand what the systems are and implement them accordingly. So, nah, man, that's man, it's mind blowing to me just hearing this multiple times, but
Mm-hmm.
also just understanding the other side of business. That's a dark side that we don't spend enough time on planning for. Taxes, how to not to pay 5 figures in taxes every year. You know, how not to be in a space where you don't have the necessary systems in place to keep the
Mm-hmm.
things flowing in and flowing out accordingly. You know, it's things that sometimes we don't get enough into. And then we have employees, that's a whole nother another element. Yep, yep, yep.
Man,
Yep.
another key piece that I'll add to it is not only because you got to make things profitable, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and those and how your business operates on paper is the banks look at that, you know what I mean, when you go to start getting business loans and things like that, you know what I'm saying, it's like how does your business operate on paper. And but one of the things that I'm kind of living by now is I think people need to operate their lives like a corporation. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is that each corporation, any big corporation, any Fortune 500 company, they have a board of directors. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Who's the board of directors for your life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you getting good counsel? You know what I mean? For your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people out here they're just going through it. You know what I mean? Just doing what they want to do. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the things that I live by now is operating my life like a corporation. You know what I mean? And yeah. So
Yeah, man. Got to, man. I mean, like all that, like Lionel said, man, that's something that we know that, but people don't think about that when they starting something. Like you said, people want to start something, and ain't nothing worse than having something that can't function without you.
right.
Something
Yeah.
that, especially something extra. Now, if that's
Mm-hmm.
some people love that. Some people when you first starting it, you got to be there. You got to do that groundwork. But it ain't nothing worse than even if it's making you tons of money. But if you can't leave or you can't not be there, and the wheels gonna fall off. I mean, that's like you strapped. Like it got you strained. You just strapped like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Like you said, that's when you get your son talking to you how you ain't never here.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
my dad said, you making all that money, you can't even spend it.
You can't even spend it, man. You know what I mean? And then you
Want to
become a
get a
slave to
vacation,
it.
you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's smart, and like that's the one reason I guess when people say all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
Well,
It
you
ain't.
know what I'm saying? You want to make it, we want to make billions of dollars. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, them systems, and like Lana said, people do. That's what people want because they can come in and you got something already set up and running smooth, and
Mm-hmm.
they might, you might be doing well, but they got a bigger vision. They got the money to take yours and turn it 10x it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they see like, damn, this thing running smooth, this joint right here, he got this going on. He don't even got to touch it. And then you look
Mm-hmm.
at your books and look at, how you got it moving, running like a, well-oiled machine. Well, that's what you want. So, I mean, let's look at the jobs we work at. Lionel got his own. You work for a company where
Mm-hmm.
they got practice. They got you there. My
Yeah.
company, they got me there. They
Mm-hmm.
got people there. So whoever, what I'm saying, that's the goal. And that's what you talk about. I don't know. I'm sure we got it too as black people, but the Jewish, white, Asian,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they got, man. They got them practices, man. They got
Yeah.
them
That
systems in place.
documentation, man. That documentation is amazing, bro. When you can hand somebody a piece of paper and say, "Do this," you know what I mean? What do they call it? SOP, standard
SOPs.
operating procedures. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta have your
SOPs.
SOP in place, man. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
man, I've walked into to jobs and corporations, and they hand me a manual, be like, "There you go." You know what I'm saying? Welcome to
That's
work,
training.
day one. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And they have a manual, you know what I'm saying, of how everything, nigga, if this happened, this is what you should do. If this happened, this is what you, and every situation is not cookie cutter like that, you know what I mean? But, just having that documentation, man, for business and having that documentation for your life as well. You know what I mean? I'm documenting all the things that, that I'm doing now, man. You know what I mean? I keep a book and a notepad because it's crazy because everything that I write down end up coming true, or or where I'm going, man. You know what I mean? I think writing is magic. You know what I mean? Because everything that I've ever wrote down, and and a lot of things that I'm writing now, I want my sons to be able to go back and refer to it. You know what I mean? Because as black men, growing up, we never had a script.
Nah.
You know what I mean? We just kind of mimicked what we saw. And so I want to kind of document, the things that I'm going through, you know what I mean? So my son can be like, man, my daddy was feeling this way, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but we all go through stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I'm quite sure that our children are going to go through it as well, you know what I mean? But if you don't have, I didn't have nobody to tell me about mental health growing up. You know what I mean? There was no therapy and counseling and you know what I mean? So it's like, to be able to tell my sons, okay, man, it's okay to feel sad and it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional. You know what I mean? And being able to have something that my children can go back and refer to. It's like, yo, dad was feeling like that. I didn't know dad was feeling like that. You know what I mean? I learned a lot of things about my dad after he died. You know what I'm saying? That I wish that we could have had that, that dialogue before, you know what I mean? He passed, but, I'm again, that's why I'm documenting, my process to say, son, you know what I mean? If you let yourself go, you know what I'm saying? Because when you let yourself go, you're gonna feel like you let go. You know what I mean? You're depressed and you're sad, you know what I mean? But on the outside, everybody else think, oh, Paul, it's cool, man. He's happy, da 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 da. On the outside, man, you really feeling like shit, man. And you really, you know what I mean? You really not you don't feel like a well person, you know what I mean? But these are the things that have to be documented and given to your children to say, even though you're here, it's okay to be there, but you got to stand up and move forward. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. That's solid. That's solid, man. I want to highlight something you said, man, that I think that we need to, bring more to the spotlight is writing things down.
Yep.
Like that's something like when we talk about manifestation, we've talked about setting goals, we talked about vision boards.
Mm-hmm.
These things are keys to success that a lot of times we don't do, like, and we got to, in order to get to the next level and also to help the next generation. I think that's, our seeds, man. I think that's, kind of segues into one of the things I wanted to ask you is about legacy, man. Like, how do you see legacy for you? What does that mean for you as we talk about kids?
That's a very good question, man. Legacy for me is being able to set up a blueprint for my children to not go through a lot of the same hurdles that I went through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people put so much, connotation on money and things like that. I want to leave a legacy so my kids don't have to struggle ever financially. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of hurdles that black men go through that aren't documented. You know what I mean? And so having that all laid out, you know what I mean, to raise my children into productive men is probably the number one thing that I want to leave behind as my legacy. You know what I mean? So they don't have to go through again, the same hurdles that, I went through as a child and looking at certain situations and having a music video raise you or a rap song raise you. You know what I mean? Yep. I want to leave the legacy that I want to leave behind is it's just basically a script for my children to go back and view their father. You know what I mean? As to where, when I'm gone, they look down in their grave and say, that's a man in that hole. You know what I mean? I remember when my dad sacrificed this for this, and it'd be a blueprint for them, for their children, because the true legacy and the true, I would say, generational legacy, because everybody got these generational curses that keep getting passed down and passed down. But the true generational legacy is giving those traits back to your children so that they can raise other children with those same traits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that be a generational legacy. but I want the financial piece with it as well. But I want to raise men that, and also other, if I have other children, but you know, I want to raise a future generation of free thinkers. You know what I'm saying? Have that legacy of being a free thinker, and also the legacy of being a good person and helping your people. You know what I mean? And because you know, a lot of people get selfish, man, and then you know they get into just what can they do for themselves. So, but leaving that legacy behind of being a free thinker, owning your own, and accepting ultimate accountability is basically what I want to leave behind.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I like that because, and like Lionel said, what you saying, we just talked to somebody last week and we did the same. He said the same thing. We all saying the same things in different ways because I was saying I wanted to make, like you said, I was more on the financial side, which I agree with you saying. But then he came back and said, well, yeah, not just the money. So he was kind of on the same thing that you were saying. Well, you want to leave, you know, like for them to be like the blueprint, for them to be good people, for them to have good character, have morals, you know, have principles, like stand for something, man. So, like you said, we all want to leave the money, but if you leave the money and then they don't got
the
you
proper
don't know what to do,
mindset,
they don't know what to do, then that's gonna go. We can blow.
Yeah.
One thing we know we can do, we can blow through some money if we want to.
Man, let me tell you, I'd have had it, lost it again, had it, lost it again, had it, lost it. You know what I mean? And so, but it's about changing that mindset, and that's why your lifestyle is so important to what you do, man. Because this time, you know what I mean. This go round is for the money. You know what I'm saying? Because you know now, man, you know I'm very passionate about what I do and how I'm spending my money. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to, you know, go out, you know, want to go on vacation and have all the nicest clothes and stuff, man. And but my mindset is right now. You know what I mean? Because I used to want to impress a lot of other broke people. You know what I mean? And so my mindset is I don't give a damn no more. You know what I'm saying? Because why am I trying to impress you if I ain't got a, you know, a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of? You know what I'm saying? And so now, you know, with eating properly, you know what I mean? I'm not spending money out eating fast food. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going and giving, you know, Foot Locker all of my money. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not, you know, I'm just not being free with my money. You know what I mean? I'm being very stingy with how I spend now because it's a shame. And this happens in our culture. I know we're running out of time, but what happens in our culture is that if you go through your children grow up, and so by the time of your children are 18 and you don't have a nest egg for them because all of these birthdays and all of these things, you know what I'm saying, you playing yourself. And we send our children off to work for other people, you know what I mean, where we just spend thousands on birthdays, on Jordans, man, if I turn this camera around, you seen all these toys in here, you know what I mean, does that match, you know, your children's I would say savings, as well as, you know what I mean, what you have set aside for them. You know what I mean? Because we send our children off, we spend so much money on BS, and we send our children off in the world to go work for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I'm to the point there where I'm like, man, I'm not going to buy you toys from Walmart and Target. You know what I mean? We're not going to spend thousands of dollars on Christmas. You know what I mean? And I don't have anything set aside for you, son. You know what I mean? So my number one thing is just being very passionate, you know, about my finances. And again, it rolls into my son the other day. He bought me $5. He said, "Yo, Dad, I found this. I know you want to put it up." You know what I mean? They're sponges. You know what I mean? Because they're always listening to how you're talking. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that did me you know, a lot of pleasure to hear my son even, you know, picking up on those things. You know what I mean? That he when he hears me speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they pick up everything, man.
Everything. I'm gonna highlight this real quick, man. And hearing you talk, man, I hear a man moving with purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Already.
And I think that's a dope thing about being in divine order, right? You're moving with a certain purpose, and you know, I think one of the things I've read from this book called The Way of the Superior Man. In the book, he
okay,
all right, in the joint, he says, a man's purpose is his number one priority. He should put nothing above his purpose.
Nothing. Not your wife, not your children, nothing. Your purpose is the number one thing that you have to do, because I was talking to some brothers the other night, man, and I was essentially saying is that you have to be selfish. You have to be very selfish, because if your cup don't run over, you can't fill nobody else's cup up. You know what I mean? And so if you're not walking in your divine purpose, you can't be that role model for your children. You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything else if you're not walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's solid, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we definitely like I said, man, we definitely. Hey, I ain't never met you, but I feel like we done had conversation before, man. But
definitely,
man. We all trying to do the same, trying to get to the same place, man. We trying to leave, trying to do something while we're here, and then when we're gone, we trying to leave something, when we're gone, man. So yeah, I think, damn, you definitely on the right path, man. Like I said, we got them similar, so we got the similar stories, man, and all that. But yeah, right now it's time, man. We got all this information. We got all the knowledge. We got all the tools, man.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I would get frustrated about is I wish I would have do this stuff that I know now.
Yeah.
I would have knew it earlier, man. I mean, because we ain't old. I'm 40. Lionel, he ain't there yet. He on the way. He around the corner, man. But but I mean, I just feel like, man, stuff happened when it's supposed to happen. But I just like, damn. I was like, yo, I could have been here already, because all the stuff that I learned, I'm like, damn, I should have knew that. Or already, you know what I'm saying? It's easy. It makes sense. Everything that I hear, that I learned, that I figure out, it makes sense. It all fit together, man. But I guess it just it happened when it's supposed to happen, man. But
it's all in God's timing. You know what I mean? And things happen when it's supposed to happen. And man, because I feel like I wasted a lot of time, just doing BS, man. Yep. But I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. That's the only accountability.
You had to learn.
You had to learn.
I mean? You got to learn, and you don't know where it's gonna take. I just read a book called The Power of One. You know what I mean? And it only take one, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It only take one good idea. You know what I'm saying? Or one good thing for you to blow, man. So and you don't know how it affects how it affects you in that time period. You might be here to affect somebody's life when you 40. You know what I'm saying? You might not supposed to blow up till you 41, 42, 45, 50. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people that I study as well, and I won't make it long-winded, a lot of people that I study, a lot of people don't get successful until they're in their 40s.
We just talked about it last week. I just told them that all this stuff, and these white people, the Bezos and the Jobs, these people got fired multiple times. Yeah, that's it. We all see the same post. And they got fired for multiple things. They didn't blow up, or whatever you want to call getting rich, until they 55, 48. So, like I said, man, we don't got time, but we got a lot of time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I see too, man. I see the same thing, man. So we might be right on schedule, man. If you think about it, we right on schedule.
We are on schedule. We right where we supposed to be.
Yeah, because even if you put in consideration all the time you wasted and you're still where you are now,
right?
All right. I'm not.
And one good thing that I picked up on, man, it's not about the end; it's about the journey between the start and there. That's the great part. You know what I'm saying? It's the journey. You know what I mean? Because now, man, I'm so proud of myself, man, that I ain't where I used to be, or I don't look like what I've been through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fast.
You know what I mean? Like man, that's amazing. You know what I mean? But it's about the journey. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, I was telling, we were talking about preachers the other day, and I was like, man, I don't really want to listen to somebody that ain't never been through nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's why I think that's about people like us. You know what I mean? I think the journey is the key. It's not the end result; it's the journey. You know what I'm saying? It's the journey. You know what I mean? And what shapes you into the person that essentially gets the end result.
Yeah. No, you know who that sounds like, right? You know who that. He sounds like. We're talking about that journey, that process. That's our guy right there, man. That's Kobe, man. That's that Kobe talk.
Man. Yeah, man. I love the journey, man. I love being in that.
It's all about the end gonna do what it's gonna do, but it's about all that in between, man.
Yeah. The journey, man. So, but man, I had an amazing time with you guys, man. And,
man.
Yeah. So
we'll have to do it again, man. Because I was gonna ask you, man. We ain't gonna do it now. I was gonna ask you a man on that health journey you on, and you serving them ribs, man. I was gonna wonder how you making that work.
Hey, yo, you know what's funny, man? Like once you be around barbecue so much, man, it's like, yo, you don't eat it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It affords me to eat everywhere else I want to eat. You know
Yeah.
what
Well, I figured you wasn't eating, but I'm just saying, hey, back in the days, if we was to sell something, we wouldn't, we don't want to poison the community.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I didn't used to do drugs, but maybe I gave them to somebody. You know what I mean? So get some vegan ribs or something, man.
Hey,
you know what
man, hey, man. You know, but I tell people, man, just eat that protein, man. Stay away from the carbs and that sugar, man. You know what I mean? Hey,
get a cold, wash it down with some water with lemon. Put some lemon in your water.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? I said, man, eat that protein, man. Come on, ain't nothing wrong with that protein. You eat as much protein as you want to. You know, when they come and start putting them globs of macaroni and cheese and potato salad, man. Sometimes I be want to snatch people plates, man, dog.
Nah, don't snatch it, man. Hey, let them get healthy next time. Let them get healthy later, man. They all right.
I had this one dude, man. He was about 600 pounds, man. He came back to see me about 4 times in an hour, man. I said, man, I don't want to sell this dude no more food.
You got to shut him off. You got to shut him down, man.
Yeah.
like at the bar, man.
Hey, sometimes you got to turn the fiends away, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, I feel so bad, man. I took that money, though. I'm still
So I need that, man. I need that.
Yeah, man. Hey, but yeah, Paul, man, listen, man, we appreciate it, man. We hey, this was a good conversation, man. We appreciate you pulling up on us, man. And normally we always do this when we close it, man. Lionel close the deals for us, man. So Lionel gonna get you to do a little something for us before we get out of here, man.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, like John said, bro, we appreciate you, man, pulling up on us. Dope conversation. Like I said, man, it's gonna be just like we talking any other time, man. And that's what it was.
I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. And I want to leave everybody with one last thing, man.
He got set you up. You gonna set you up?
You gonna set me up? Oh, my bad.
I'm gonna give you the oop. Okay. All right, here we go. Hey, so check. Hey, key for the day. We get all of our guests, man, to leave a key for the day, a gem, something that somebody can use to inspire them, motivate them. What you got, bro?
So mine would be, what you don't change, you choose.
Yeah,
that's the key for the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like that.
So what you don't change, you choose, and your frequency is what you frequently see. So
you gotta spin that black. You gotta spin that back. You gotta spin that back, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm really big into them frequency and them vibrations, man. And your frequency is what you frequently see, man. I think that's right. Man. Everybody should live their life like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely pick that up, man. I can use that. I might go drop that off, and then when I go in the room, man, it's cuz, man, I might pull that out, start arguing, man.
Let's start arguing real quick. Because they probably doing this right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I'm gonna say, you on that death scroll, huh? I'm gonna tell you.
I'm telling you, that death scroll, man, because I've been so guilty of it for so long, man.
Yeah,
man. I said, man, look at me. I said, you can do better than that, Paul. Go get your big self up and go walk, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. But I appreciate you guys, man, and thank y'all, man. Hopefully we can do it again. I tried my best to stay on topic. This is my first time doing something like this, man.
Yeah, we freestyling, man. We ain't got no rhyme or reason, man. We just chopping it up, man. Let it go where it go, man.
Yeah, man.
Going like water, man. But yeah, man, we'll do it again for sure, man. Hey, we look forward to it, man. But like I said, man, we appreciate it. Hey, best of luck to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And hey, peace and love, man. We'll get with you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brothers, man. Y'all have a good evening, man.
All right, bro.
Peace.
All right.
How can you pretend?
Now rocking with the elite.